Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how to make shepherd's pie. So here's everything we'll be needing for this recipe. If you do not catch it on the screen, just keep in mind, like all my videos, the directions will be listed in the description box below. Alright guys, now let's get into the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 2 tablespoons of butter to my pan. And I'm going to cook that on medium to low heat. Now once that butter has melted, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. If you have fresh garlic, use that instead. Then you just want to give that a good stir and saute your minced garlic for about 2 minutes. Once it starts to bubble up like that, that's how we know it's time to add in our onions. So we're just going to give that a good stir as well, and we are going to stir these onions until they are translucent. So as you can see, my onions look about done. Alright, so now it's time to add in our ground beef. And when you cook this ground beef, you want to make sure you break it up really well and there's no clumps in it. As you can see, that's what I'm doing right now. And when it comes to ground beef, you want to make sure you cook it until it's brown first, and then you add in your seasonings. So right now, I'm just going in with a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. If you watch my videos, you know I use that a lot. Now I'm going in with a tablespoon of onion powder and 2 teaspoons of black pepper. Then I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And guys, that really just brings out the flavor in that ground beef. And of course, I'm just going to give that a good stir. And we're going to set that aside so we can make our slurry. So I'm just going to use 3 cups of beef stock. And guys, when I tell you adding beef stock to your shepherd's pie really brings out that beef flavor, it really does. Like, the beef is just not dry when you add the beef stock. Now I'm just going to add in 3 tablespoons of flour, and I'm going to give that a good stir. When you're done stirring, there shouldn't be any clumps in your flour stir. If there is clumps, then you need to stir some more. Okay, so once we're all done with that, we're just going to add our slurry to our ground beef. Then of course, you want to give that a good stir. And guys, I'm cooking this on a medium to low heat. And now we're going to add in a tablespoon of sugar. We're just going to give that a good stir as well. So as you can see, since we added that slurry, our sauce is starting to thicken up, but it is not as thick as I want it to be. So now I'm just going to add in my vegetables. And I'm going to add about a teaspoon of complete seasoning to that, and then I'm just going to stir everything together. Now my ground beef is the consistency that I want it to be. Y'all see how that ground beef is nice and juicy and not dry? See, that's what you want to go for when you make shepherd's pie. You do not want no dry ground beef. Off camera, I've peeled about 8 russet potatoes. And I just want to show you guys a demonstration on how I cut my potatoes when I make mashed potatoes. It just makes things more easier for me. And this is what your potatoes should look like when you're done cutting them up. Now we're just going to beat 1 egg so we can use it for later. Now I'm just going to add my potatoes to my water. I like to boil my potatoes on a medium heat and not a high heat. And that just helps me not get a glue-like texture when I make mashed potatoes. So now I'm just going to stir them up a little bit, and then I'm going to leave them alone, and I'm going to just let them cook on medium heat for about 20 minutes. So now I'm just going to make some roasted garlic because I want to put some roasted garlic in my mashed potatoes. I'm just going to cut off the top and the bottom of the garlic. I promise you, this is the easiest thing you guys will ever do in your life. Then I'm just going to add a tablespoon of olive oil, and if you would like, you can add a little bit of salt. And then we're just going to fold that up in the foil, and we're going to cook that in the air fryer for about 30 minutes on 400. So once my potatoes are done, I'm just going to drain them. Once the potatoes are all mashed out, I'm just going to go in with my potato masher. If you don't have this, don't feel like you need to go out to the store and go get it. You can get the same results with a fork. And now I'm just going to add in 2 sticks of butter and mash that out as well. And next I'm going to add in a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt and 2 teaspoons of black pepper. And now I'm going to add in my roasted garlic, which I told y'all was the easiest thing. You see how I'm just squeezing it out? Now you just want to give everything a good mix. Now I'm going to go in with a half a cup of heavy cream. If you don't have heavy cream, you can always use milk. Next, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of complete seasoning and 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. And of course, you just want to mix everything together. And now you just want to add in your egg. And this is just so everything just stays together, almost like you would with mac and cheese. So now we are just about done with our mashed potatoes. As you can see, they look nice and fluffy, no gluiness going on. Now we could transfer our beef and vegetables to our dish. Then I'm just going to make sure it's spread throughout evenly. And now we can add our mashed potatoes as well. And we're just going to make sure that it's spread evenly throughout as well. Then we're just going to add a generous amount of parsley to garnish. Then we're just going to pop this in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes on 400 degrees. I like to cook mine without the foil on it, just so it can be nice and brown on the top. And this is it fresh out the oven. As you can tell, I have already taken out a piece. I'm sorry, I had to try it and see what it tasted like. But this is what it's looking like. The mashed potatoes is nice and creamy and fluffy. And that beef is nice and juicy and moist and flavorful. You guys should definitely try this recipe. If you like this recipe, don't forget to click that like button. Also, if you have any recommendations or any comments, or you just want to tell me something you want for me to make next week, don't forget to leave that in that comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell up top when you subscribe. That way you can get a notification every time I post, which will be 2 times a week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.